like a wall. We couldn't love the faster at all, not at all. You know the West Indies couldn't love the faster at all. You know the West Indies couldn't love the faster at all. You know the West Indies couldn't love the faster at all.
We say good afternoon. We say good afternoon. Skies are dark, so I was going to say good evening, but it's good afternoon. From the street, 91.9 FM, the Third Empire. Say good afternoon to the management and staff of this great radio station. We say good afternoon to our international listeners from Africa, Dubai, USA, Caribbean. We say good afternoon. Good night to some of you all and good morning to some of you. Say good afternoon to my co-host, my colleague, Mr. Ronald Rodox. We say good afternoon to the other empires that are on matters of state. As usual, we start by giving thanks to the universe, to the energies, to the Creator, to the God that have us on this earth. We are mindful, we are grateful, we are appreciative. We give thanks for the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We give thanks for the support. We give thanks for friends and family. We give thanks for the ability to help our fellow man and the pleasure that is derived from helping and lifting up each other. We give thanks for that. Good health, we give thanks for. We give thanks for all those who support on a daily basis, those who sacrifice on a daily basis for country development. We give thanks to the batsmen and the bowlers outside there, trying their best to shift the paradigm, hopefully in a positive direction. We give thanks. Our leaders, our students. We give thanks for the workers of CPEP, of URP. We give thanks to the teachers, and they give thanks to the sanitary engineers, and so forth. We have so much to be thankful for. Sadness should be a distant thing from our minds and our face. We have so much to be thankful for. When we compare ourselves with many others, we must say thanks. And we thank all the energies, the Creator, the universe for having us here above ground. My fellow empire, Ronaldo, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. Good afternoon, our listeners. Good afternoon to the street, to the pavilion, to those who spend the time to critically analyze, not just repeat and regurgitate, but critically analyze. Is that so? Is that true? Is that all? Is there another view? And that is what we seek to do on the Third Empire. We seek to pull back the tape, replay the incident, watch the facts carefully, so try and come up with what may not only be a logical answer, but the truth. At the end of the day, we're trying to establish that type of discourse in the public domain, in the public space. You know, too many times people start with I feel, and I think, and I hear. We want you to begin with I read. That's what we want on the Third Empire. I read, you know, and I will tell you what I read. And then you tell me what you saw, because you experienced. That is observation. You were there, you were a witness. And you can give what might be even, you know, subjective evidence. But at the end of the day, you share your experience on the street. And we try to see if we can look at what happened through another lens.
Yeah.
Through another lens. The Third Empire on Street, 91.9 FM. And what a night we had. We had a very, I wouldn't say turbulent, but a very exciting night. There was a little fete match. There was a fete match at Pinal, was it? Last night. But the captain did not treat it like a fete match at all.
I don't understand. There's a fet match.
She was in ripping form.
Scoring points?
Scoring boundaries.
Woo.
The captain.
Are you saying the batters are putting runs on the board?
In a fet match.
In a fet match?
Yes, in a fet match.
And they're taking those runs and putting it on the test match scoreboard?
We will see, sir. We will see. We won't reach there
You're
yet.
creating excitement in the pavilion,
we will not see yet, because some of these things are about plans to come.
Okay.
And events that should unfold in the public domain. But the captain was taking no prisoners last night.
Talk to me.
No prisoners.
The pavilion is listening.
The captain, apart from obviously all the things that are accompanied with politics, the captain was in ripping form about the government's future legislative agenda. The captain had a lot of things to say, a lot of plans to announce, you know, with some politics in between, because again, it's cricket. Cricket is colorful, and cricket has a lot of nuances. You see gestures between batsman and bowler and etc. All in the good spirits of the game. Good. Some of the other batsmen, Miss Julian John, she had something to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had some things to say. She had her say. Dr. Munilal had his say. Dr. Dowlat had his say. And
education, yes.
You know, we despite what we may or may not think and feel about what they had to say, they're in the crease. And we have to respect that.
Yeah.
A lot of people who talking now, I don't know if they know, they only come to match in the second innings.
Yeah.
They weren't here for 10 years. Good. They couldn't talk. Good. So we do understand now that there's been a freedom to express one's opinion. And that is nice. That is nice. That is nice about it. She had some choicest words, you know, concerning that. Concerning the law association. No, and nobody escaped last night. Nobody escaped last night from the captain.
Bring it on.
Then listen, she declared, I would don't want to say war, because that people interpret that as being adversarial. But I say it. She declared war in her own internal elections. She declared that she will be a candidate. So if some people thought that this was a cameo innings from this captain.
Just, probably I want to be clear. So it's just some internal election in the party.
I'm coming. It's upcoming.
And she's braving the weather and saying, hey, all positions are vacant.
Yes.
Come and get it.
Come and get it.
Whoa.
I will be going up. I will be contesting. I'll be defending my crown. I will be testing my...
So it's an anointing and no leader?
No
anointing?
No.
One man, one vote?
They're not doing that.
One man, one vote?
Beat me fair and square.
Let the people decide?
Yeah. And whatever it is, no processes without flaw and fault and you know, anything man and humans are involved in. But the captain was in ripping form last night. The captain was cogent.
We have to dissect that.
The captain was clear.
Yeah.
You know, there will be a lot of discussion surrounding these plans and these intentions, as they should be. Remember, this is a democracy.
Yes.
You know, she talked about giving out the papers on the particular discussion papers on the intended legislative plans by the state. Good. Which is the right way to go.
So we're saying just participation by the pavilion.
Definitely.
How they should back.
The captain said the pavilion will have a say.
Oh, okay.
And she also said something quite novel. She said, we don't need to hear from the big wigs, you know. You don't have to be a somebody and a big this and a Mr. that. She said, we want to hear from the common people. When we go out on the street, when we go out to the communities, you don't feel that you have to bring your cousin who's a doctor in UWE and your nephew who have a master's and a PhD.
Every voice have value.
Exactly. And I thought that was very sensible.
It is leadership.
Yes. I thought that was very sensible. I thought that was very...
No, I want to pull it at you.
All right.
I want to pull it at you.
All right.
Remember we said on this, and people listening to this pavilion, this Empire's talking,
Yes.
the people in the pavilion
are
listening to it. I will tell you why. We have started, right?
Yes.
When we were appointed by the Selectors Committee, right? And the sponsors and so forth, to be the third empires, we said, there must be no representation without what? Consultation.
Correct.
From day one. No representation without consultation. You can't just say you're doing it for me when you never ask me if I want that. And you feel because you have a position, you could just do what you want. You're the smartest bulb outside there. And I said, the conversation from the Empire box was, you were selected because all of us can fit in the parliament. So we select a few to go up there, but that don't mean to say don't consult with us relative to what you're doing. So you're not that you're smarter than all of us, and I think the captain of the batting side recognize, yes, how they reach where they are. Yeah? They understand clearly. We are here because all of you all can't. We're not the brightest bulb. We're not the smartest. But everybody had a thing to do, and you say, I'm available, I'll go and handle the stories. So go and handle the stories because all of us can fit. That means every time you have to do something in the groups who sent you best interest, you must talk with the group a little bit. So I think the captain understands that. And
you know, I also paid attention to the tenor of her speech. I listened to the spirit of what she was delivering. And what I noticed is that most of the things on the legislative agenda addressed common social issues. Very common social issues. You know, there's a time for macroeconomic planning and energy diversification, and there are times for that, and some of that was said. But the meat of the discourse were very common social issues that are up for debate. So I hear the hullabaloo in the public space. There's no law. No law has been passed as yet. Good. But the captain, not surreptitiously, but very openly has declared that this is my government's legislative agenda for the next short term. And I am inviting comments.
What do you say? What do you say?
Have you say? Yeah. Whether you like it, you don't like it, stupidness, tweak it a little bit. You know, she said it will take time to give response.
Yeah.
And responses to her suggestions. But the invitation was there, and it was made public.
For all and sundry.
For all and sundry. Good. Everybody in the
There's
pavilion.
no yellow, red in this thing.
No. That time has gone.
That's gone.
That's gone. And,
yes.
and some of us find that very hard to.
It's not normal. It's not normal.
No, election to banker is different, you know.
Licks is a licks.
Different.
A sky is a sky.
Election to banker, from what I've heard and seen and read, is different. So we understand that, but there's a country to govern.
We must grow up, we must mature, we must understand that we have one vision, one mission, we are on one ship, on one trip.
Because remember, we believe here, take nothing personal except your pay slip.
Yeah.
So, drunk or sober,
mind your business.
Mind your business.
Yeah.
That is what the third empire
is. As you say that, I peep at something relative to it. I tried to research that FET match last night.
Yeah.
And I compare it to the other FET match of the bowling side. There's some FET match.
Yeah, they had a FET match too.
But the FET match doesn't speak to a vision of possibility, but a vision of antagonism, war, machination, and mischievousness. Yeah? Is that mischievousness? Yeah. That they call that pejorative, I've made a word.
Yeah.
Pejorative. I saw one thing, and you know, I smiled just now when you start speaking about the FET match, because people are listening to the third umpires. We had a conversation here that says a ministry must have a clearly defined vision and mission as to where they're going. So everybody, all and sundry who works in the ministry, must know what we're trying to achieve with this ministry. I saw in that FET match a document for the Board of Inland Revenue presented by, I'll shout him out, Kennedy Swarat Singh, a good friend of mine for many a year, that had, you know, that document started with the transformation of BIR, a vision and a mission. You ever saw that in any ministry before, where you start off in terms of transformation, the inclusion of a vision and mission statement? We talk that here. We say unless you have that, people go in the ministry and think is the desert and they just run all about and roll in the sand all about the place, and they know, well, what are we supposed to do here? Put sand in the bucket, bathe with it, roll in it? But he clearly defined a roadmap, let's call it a roadmap, for BIR. And if every ministry should follow that, so I had to give him a 6 there. I think he put on a 6
that
there.
was a 6.
He scored a 6 with that. When I say, whoa.
6 runs.
He scored 6 runs.
Yeah.
With that transformational approach, yeah, for BIR. You start with everyone buying into, yes, the end in mind and working towards that. Excellent work by the batsman called Dr. Kennedy Swarat Singh. You have scored a 6. We are no shingle here and thing here, where the pavilion will say, not yet. The pavilion will say what I have to say, but I saw that and I know we talk about it at length in the umpire's box and so forth. And then I saw the first time, well, the second time, I had started that, but we didn't reach there. But this is the first time, kudos to him, that we see a ministry, a department, BIR, starting off their transformation in terms of establishing a vision and mission. And that is where we're supposed to be. Yeah? Now it was cascade down. I haven't looked at the whole thing. I hope I can get a copy of the whole plan for BIR to see how it cascade, how it involved inclusion of all the workers, how it involved the inclusion of new entrants into that department, to see how they change the culture and let persons who coming into or being transferred to adopt the culture. Yes, because a culture shift now. Now we are going in and is what the PSA, you know, the government, the executive have an overarching vision and mission of where they want it to go. I don't know if they would take it to Parliament for that to be approved as policy now, or it will just be a executive thing. So the next government or executive would come in and say, we are like that vision and mission, change it next week. And say you want to drink rum and soda water. We want that, as the case may be. So I want to see how far they're taking it, but thus far, excellent approach. Excellent approach.
Yes, and I stand firm in my
resolve.
Yeah, in my observation.
Yeah.
And in my even my own mental reflection on, I really didn't want to be honest, I accidentally stumbled upon the FET match. I heard about it. You know, I was tired after the show.
I saw snippets online.
Yes.
Snippets online. Yeah.
And then I started to hear, you know, the discourse. It came live on the television, I believe, and I was listening. And
someone told me about it. I was driving and I tried to get it on the radio, but no station carried it. No radio station, that is. So
I think there was a radio station carrying it. Yes, I think
probably so. the captain of the batting side have to start announcing which radio station, because I searched all.
Yeah.
While I was driving, but I didn't pick up on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably I missed it, as the case may be. But I was curious. I listened to both the batsmen and the bowlers, when they have their little fet match, I always listen to see how their visioning is for the country. I'm always disappointed when we do personal attack, stabbing, I call it stabbing and jabbing.
Yeah.
We pass the stage of stabbing and jabbing. We are at a crossroad as a country that need to put firm strategy. I would like to hear the bowlers talk strategy and say, yes, we hope the batsmen do this. Yes, we have done this, it did not work, but we believe if we do it this way, and start putting some positive suggestions on the board to tell us, to demonstrate us that you're thinking also.
Well,
but if you spend all your time just jobbing, then I'm trying to figure out what I put you there for. I don't know what your game plan is. Okay, well, you want to come in, you want to bat, you want to bat. Well, but you show me that you know, to tie your pad self.
From our analysis thus far, what we could say is that we have seen that this bowling side is starting with spin. They're not bowling pace because it's hard to read. Out of the back of the hand, sometimes it's hard to read the true intent. The 2 overs thus far, one dealing with the pension, good, and the other issue dealing with the CPEP.
You hear about the CPEP in the Fed match?
It's a mix. Yeah, it's a mix.
How? Okay, the bowler spin.
Yeah.
The bowler spin with CPEP. In the Fed match, the batsmen carry. They roll back so. They lean back against the stump. And they come forward. And here what they start to call names though. 336. Let me call. 32. They registered. But you're renewing the contract. They start to call names and say, well, he's a big counselor, he's a big businessman, so. But he has a contract. Some contract for 6 years straight, boy. The batsmen start to put some licks on them spin. They say, by company, you are no company, they registered. How you going to take me to court when you do exist? Who you?
Yeah, you see, and my issue is this.
You see how it keep coming out?
The pavilion must be vigilant on the facts.
Yes.
Because there may be complementary facts and contradictory facts. But the pavilion has to be careful in this emotive time. Just after a side declare, runs on the board, and they come out to bowl. You know, it has some people that appeal for everything, you know.
Yes.
We know that.
Yes.
It has some people, the bowler ain't reach up to the stump yet to deliver. And
Umpire.
They are appealing for LBW. We as umpires, we see that all the time.
Yeah.
We see tricks.
Yeah.
We see the batsman walking out the crease and the bowler running up the bowl and slow down and signaling, listen, you could get stumped. Which is true. However, in the spirit of the game,
of sportsmanship,
it's not practice. And that is where the pavilion has to be very careful.
Yeah.
We have to be very careful on either side of the divide, not to be carried away with the antics of the match. Good? Because you will see batsman threatening bowler, you know.
I've seen it already.
But they ain't vex.
Yeah.
They're not vex. The bowlers have, and the batsmen too, must not be too emotive.
Yeah.
And they must not reply to everything. Because the bowlers have a job to do. Once it's a legal delivery, the bowlers have a job to do, and you know, for what it's worth, allow them to do their job. And some people say they do that particular job very well. They bowl better than they bat. Some people allude to in the present incarnation of the two teams. But I thought it was a very good Fed match. You know, I didn't know all the heavy hitters would have come out for a Fed match. I thought they'd bring the B side.
Yeah.
But the captain did not work with the B side really. You know, some of the first 11 members were there.
Yeah, sometimes the Fed match is to make sure that everybody's still in form, eh?
Yes, that
your
too.
Form,
you have
your
to
position,
give the top.
your stance. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. And it's early in the innings. It's early in the innings. It's early in the innings. Let's hear from the street, if the street is there.
Caller, welcome from the pavilion.
Hi, good. I just tuned in. Good. Thank you for the welcome.
Always welcome.
Good evening, all. Good afternoon, all. Was it really a Fed match you all are speaking about, or you all speaking about the Monday night forum?
Monday night forum.
Oh gosh, well, I came in late. I really thought you all. But all this, the Monday night forum was advertised before. I think before the whole weekend. People knew about the Monday night.
Was it on radio? I
forum.
didn't. Probably my car didn't pick it up for some reason or the other. But I tried to.
No.
in.
But what I mean, it's normal. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't not pick it up.
No.
Especially
I know it's
people who
normal,
live-
but I didn't get it on my radio. Probably I had to upgrade my car or
know-
something like that.
I understand. Yes,
Yeah.
I understand. But you see the thing, how we all speaking there. What I like to hear.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't. You're so interested, and that's why I come in. But I don't really like to speak unless I hear, like in the parliament. You see, like when things like this, you remember it has to be debated. A lot of these things, as you all say, that's what the parliament is for. It's not for old talk.
Yes.
It's to discuss, not only to make laws, to anything that affects the country. Right? And it's debated, brought in, whatever.
Yeah.
And I like to hear from there. You see, there's somebody hear a word, and everybody's pew is at this and at that. To remind me like somebody going to get married, and they just heard you all getting married, and that's all they hear. And from the time they hear you are getting married, you hear when, you hear who, you hear. This time nothing is planned yet, The couple himself sit down to say, well, who, when, and where. But then, you hear so-and-so getting married, cell phone, yes, and it happens, and it will go until the day of the wedding.
Oh,
And I always tell that's old talk. I tell people I don't debate, don't listen to old talk. I mean, it's part of our culture. I'm not disputing anybody want to yap and talk. That's their business. But it's always old talk. All these days you all come in here. Who you have that you sat down and you spoke on a television, on a telephone, or you could come with facts. And I'm talking about facts that Mrs. Kamler told you personally or whatever. I don't like old talk, right? So even the Monday night forum, like how we all discussing, they cannot bring everything for the country. They're just keeping you updated. But I find what people have to do is when it's Parliament, and I'm not look at one word what somebody said, okay?
excellent.
When you listen to Parliament, my granddaughter is 25 now, and from small age, she knows that my Parliament station always on. So when it had whatever, she is listening from small, right? I wouldn't say she listened to all, but I mean it's on, right? And you listen to the whole Parliament the whole day. Sometimes they go in, when they're debating, they go into the night. And you listen, and I don't have to sit down in front of a TV. If I'm working, I'm hearing it because it's on the radio. Remember, Parliament station is on the radio, no? So I'll be cooking, cleaning, washing, doing whatever, sewing, and I'm listening. I don't have to sit down in front of a TV. And that's what
Excellent.
people have to realize, that you have to take everything into consideration. I'm not saying all the time you're glued, but you don't take what the papers say and what the neighbor, I hear something happen. I like to see my facts and I like to listen to it. I'm not even interested now, right? When Parliament starts for the year and the people say what they have to say, and I will talk and could debate properly then. I mean, you could talk now, but you understand? So good, but I'd still like to get a little.
We appreciate your contribution from the pavilion.
From your show is still enlightening.
Yes.
And at least bringing everything to the forward.
We have to give
People
it
have
a spin, but what we see is factual to a large extent. But we're not government officials, so we have to give it a spin and make the facts.
No,
you can make the facts entertaining.
Right. Yeah.
So
but you were saying
when we
just
talk
now-
about For example, when we talk about ministry, when we talk about policy, when we talk about the constitution, those are factual things. When we talk about a CPAP contract and the nature of a contract, those are factual.
Yeah, but I asked you the other day if anybody, right, yes.
Yeah,
but
those are, I was reading from a CPAP contract. When I was reading, it's a contract I was reading from.
Right.
So this
right,
but I would spin in and say, well, I hope somebody didn't change it and we didn't know. That's a spin now.
Right.
Spin
yes.
it.
Yeah.
Right?
You're bowling.
A bowling, right.
Yeah.
You spin it a little bit, but I already say the facts.
I know how you handle it.
And then I twist it up a little bit. Yeah.
Right. But what I'm saying, although the things are facts,
yeah,
there are things to come with the facts. You may know facts, but you don't know what will happen, how it will, and all this kind. So I like to wait too. Yeah. Although I like to see a bowling, and
your contribution.
But I heard you said one thing before I go. I heard you said, I can't remember just now. All this stuff makes me forgot. But I heard you said something about you read or something you saw about
BIR. I was speaking about.
Hope, yeah, I think, and you.
Well, that is facts. So that was facts in terms of the vision and the mission for BIR.
You hope it will stay and it wouldn't be this, and I hope
that they make it policy in Parliament. That's what I hope now.
Well, right. So that's where this is one of the things I say. I don't hope. I am going to listen to when they bring down, when they go in Parliament, they have to debate certain things.
Well, the pavilion have to encourage them to so do, Don't talk it on the outside, go in Parliament and debate
it. That's as you say, that's
excellent.
Excellent. That is facts.
Excellent. Caller, your contribution is always kind. Always kind.
Right, I'm not waiting to hope. I am not, but I know you have other customers.
Well, no, the pavilion, no, we're talking the pavilion have have their view. The pavilion have a platform to give their view. True. And we will allow the platform to give their view. They must.
Right, thanks. Right, and I am waiting. It's when it starts in earnest. I'm not saying let us wait and see, because one of the people like to say we waiting and see. If I ask you what part, well, we're waiting to see what they're going to do, and we waiting, always waiting to see.
Yeah.
You understand? Yes. So I'll make sure that it is shown, it is heard, it is whatever and thing, and
Yes.
And the bowlers and the people will play the cricket, and I have a belief in our cricketers.
Excellent.
Although I'm not a cricket, I don't know cricket, but I have a faith in your bowlers and things.
Batsmen, yes.
As you say, somebody got a six just now.
Yes.
Right, that's nice. Right.
Caller, your contribution.
Okay, so I'm looking forward to
most appreciated.
Contribution.
Thank you. Good. Caller from the pavilion, welcome.
Hey, good evening, the umpires.
Oh,
how are you guys today?
A pleasant good afternoon to you, my friend, and welcome from the pavilion. I hope there's things in your cooler to keep you in a focused mind.
No, well, my cooler, I put my cooler in the car already because it looked like rainfall just now, so much postponed.
Caller, did you listen to the FET match? Did you take on the FET match, taking any part of the FET match last night?
Yeah, but Mr. Ronaldo, I now coming to call to tell you, and I appreciate the way how you break it down in layman terms. You see, the conversation was, give me 1 minute before you say anything, Mr. Ronaldo. The conversation, how you bring it down there and break it down in layman terms, a lot of people cannot understand the talk that she was speaking, but you break it down in layman terms so they understand.
Yes. Do you tell us, share with us, caller?
What is your opinion of the match?
What did you like about the FET match and what you didn't like? Because we ain't gonna like everything from the little you hear of the reactions. Tell us what is your feedback on the ground.
Well, the number one thing I liked, names were called without parliament privilege.
Okay.
So that's one of the things I like.
Right.
Because, in Parliament, they have a parliament privilege, so you can say what you want and you can be held accountable.
Correct.
The second thing I like is that how the president, the Prime Minister Moody was here, number one democracy in the world, and she showed it. She's going to have elections, and she putting up herself again. So that's a transparency.
Right.
Okay.
And the third thing what I picked up from it is that she's willing to come out on the playfield and hear from the pavilion. We don't need educated people to tell us what we need. Is the man on the ground needs what they need. And I appreciate the fact that no matter your will come on the playfield too.
Correct.
Not because it's muddy, you're afraid they will get your Clarks muddy.
Nah, this is cricket. You'll get mud. Mud is part of it.
You
Correct.
have to get mud. And it's about time we get a government, and I applaud UNC. Government, we put you in power for us, the people. And what we say is that what we need. Look, somebody living in the ivory towers can't tell me what I need on the ground.
Yes.
Because when rain fall, they're not coming to help people push out water. You know?
Yes.
They sipping almond, drinking almond and eating the shrimps and say, we look at flood. So I appreciate the factors that what they bring. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Excellent observation, Pavilion.
So, Pavilion, when you all call, let's stick to, we're talking about the FET match last night. Tell us what you like and what you don't like. Be open. You don't have to like everything. And we understand, depending on what you sit down, depending on where you were seated, depending on your experience at the FET match, you may not have enjoyed certain things. And that is fair. So tell us what you like. What are the takeaways?
Pavilion, welcome.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Afternoon.
Umpires.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah. Well, I watch well, I wouldn't call it a FET match. I would call it I will call it accounting to the taxpayer, which was a earlier creation of the late great George Chambers. When he had in his latter days, 84, 85, he went to different communities and schools in particular, building and venues, and accounted to the taxpayer. Until the last one was held in St. Joseph and one of the primary schools. I mean, some angry people came there. Well, I will call them spectators.
So how was the match last night? A good thing is something that should be followed.
Yes,
so if these batsmen following a good thing, where it started, they're on a good thing.
Of course.
What is your opinion of that? So what is your opinion of the thing? It's a good thing, and George Chambers started it, and we thankful for him. God bless him. Yeah. So now they're following a good template and so forth. Are they living up to the expectation?
Well, I hope so, because and as people saying, it's not a forum, as a reporter. People going back to the old structure.
And what is your opinion of the report?
Well, my opinion, it was a excellent way of updating the public in conditions.
Yeah. I like your honesty.
Yeah. You get a ball by ball, man.
Yes.
Playing conditions. Yeah. And I was happy to hear it about, because it's a lot of benefit to the spectators. It's a lot of goodies for the spectators.
Hey.
Right? And I think they should keep it at least twice a month. I don't know if they'll have enough what do they call it? Enough firepower
for every week.
For every week. It should be bi-weekly or once a month.
Thanks, caller.
Turnout was,
Your opinion is most appreciated.
Who in conch shell,
yeah.
Who clapping, who screaming. Okay, brother.
Thank you, caller. You are kind. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, and
we like where
it's
we're
left to be seen.
going. It's left to be seen.
It's left to be seen. It is.
So what you say, the batsmen went out on the field and they spoke to the pavilion and they made some commitment to the pavilion. Is that what we're saying from that FET match they had?
Yeah.
Normally halftime you bring on some dancers on the stage, some singers, them say, all right, we have a little FET match and entertain the pavilion now.
Yeah.
And during that entertainment of the batting side, they gave some commitment to the pavilion. We will be doing this for you. We will be doing that. We'll be hitting some sixes. You'll get some fours. We'll hit some singles. We'll do something through silly mid off and silly mid on and so forth. Yeah. And the pavilion is now saying, well, it's left to be seen.
It's left to be seen. Performance beat old talk. That was the mantra of the former leader, of the former captain of the batting side.
Yeah.
That was his mantra. Performance beat old talk.
Pavilion, welcome.
I must say good evening to you, gentlemen.
A pleasant good evening to you, my friend. Welcome.
Gentlemen, I've been following Kamala Prasad for the last 9 years of my life. The last 9 years of my life, I've been following Kamala Prasad, the Prime Minister today. And many people might know his voice, might know I work very closely about defending of the UNC and defending Kamala Prasad, Bissassa. And promises make, promises keep. And everything she said there last night there on the platform, she said it on her campaign trail. And the people come out in the numbers. 100 and something thousand people leave the PNM and vote for the UNC because what she was saying on the political platform. That alcohol business, people do not know. She talked about that on her campaign trail. So the people vote for her to do something about it. Kamala Prasad, this is like someone tell me, Arnold Roberts shouldn't be a minister. I say, what do you mean? You have questions. Oh, I say, Arnold Roberts was a senator for the last 5 years, 4 years. He was on political platform talking. And the people still, she never hide him and bring him back when she win. Before she win, he was there next to her. And the people still vote for her. So, Arnold Roberts is not the problem. Of course not, because he was on the platform. He was announcing she coming on. And people make it, the people choose it. So, it wasn't a big deal to me to not what she's saying that the last day is something new to my ears. No, I hear it already. And to me, who listen to politics, you see when the opposition leader speaking and the Prime Minister speaking, these people I want to hear. I might not want to hear some of the ministers on them. But you see, when the Prime Minister of this country speaking or the opposition leader speaking, I pay close attention to them. Because them is the leaders, them is the person is who saying yea, nay, or a. And last time when I was here, she said that she bringing this law for children have to be over the age of 25 to hold 30 grams of marijuana. I said, well done. Well done. And when I hear she talk about the alcohol, today many people vex about it because like the whole country could be a drunken shop.
I mean, people vex about it. I don't. Talk to me. What has been the comment by your colleagues in the pavilion?
Well, the pavilion saying it too harsh, and young people drinking, and they can't stop fun for drinking. We know that because, if you pay a law and have a club, and I say nobody over, under the age of 18 to come in the club over the 18, and you have them coming in the club, that can't blame the government for that. You can expect a police to stand up out of the club every time asking everybody ID card. The club supposed to have the security and make sure that, hey, a person is 18 years to enter in the club. So if she bring a law that young people, but with the age of over 21 or 25, to drink alcohol, we have to support it. We have to support it. We can't come and criticize and say, oh, these laws to justice, she bringing this law, and it's too late. It's not too late. So as I close, I enjoy we call the because the party last night.
Yeah, the fat match.
I enjoyed the fat match. The fat match was very well played. Only 6 and 4s last night.
All right.
Runs was making, catch was making, thump was going out. It was bacchanal. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, call.
So we're going out for drinks just now. So we'll hold the call still after the drinks break.
Yeah.
But
we'll go out with this.
Go ahead.
We're going for drinks breaks.
Yeah.
So I'll say dip it, dunk it, and win it this Saturday, 12th July at KFC South Park. Come sample the new KFC tenders and step into the Java experience. From 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Unlock giveaways, augmented reality games, exclusive merch and free KFC hosted by Junior Lee, Chinese, with live DJ vibes in full effect. Chase the crunch and unlock Java with KFC.
I ain't lying, you read that good, boy.
We going for a break?
Your guy ain't reading in school, boy. Because we remember we have school issues to come and talk about, because today some parents had to pay big money all over the country. But we will get to that, right? Right now we deal with the fat match and the remnants, you know, like any all-inclusive.
Yeah.
Some people say it boring. Some people had the time of their life. Some say the DJ ain't play good.
Yes.
Some say that was the best mix they ever
Man
heard.
say that shell, some shell does blow and thing. And
Yeah, conch shell. We had it all. So we understand that there will be mixed views in the pavilion, eh? Because remember, some people sitting high up, eh?
Yes.
In the pavilion, so they can't see the bird, sand, fly, all kind of things.
Bad eye.
Right, and some people have a different view. So there'll be different experiences in the pavilion, and all are welcomed. Right? We just ask people here to be polite, be objective, and be open.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to like what somebody else just like, but let us keep dealing with the issues.
There's something called, a man was asked once to describe an elephant. 4 persons were described to ask elephant, 4 blind men. And 4 of them touched 4 different sides of the elephant and had different description for the same thing, you know.
That's what we
So
say.
it always come from the side in which you are touching or looking at. It's not necessarily the overall picture that exists before us, yes? So you must be mindful. The view you have may be the view from where you are standing, but it might not be the full picture.
Correct.
We got to be mindful of that. Other people have views, and that is how we bring about
with
that
many
360.
views, we will piece it together.
Yep.
And we will get the full
We'll get the
picture
whole.
on the Third Empire.
We're going to drink something. Cold water.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
Attention business owners. Are you looking to reach a vast audience and boost your brand's visibility? Then look no further. The Street 919 FM is here to help you shine. With over 170,000 followers on our social media platforms, our radio station is the perfect platform to showcase your products and services. Join us and let your message be heard by thousands of eager listeners. Contact us now to learn more about our affordable advertising packages. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to connect with your target audience. Advertise with the Street 919 FM today. For more information, call 399-5959 or 384-2232.
This summer, give your child skills of a lifetime with several boot camp. Children between the ages of 5 to 17 come enjoy Children Iron Chef competition. Your child will learn to prepare healthy breakfast, lunch, dinner, CPR, first aid, and conflict management. With field trip, your child will be given free apron and certification upon completion. Call 492-7397 or 336-4935. Institute of Health and Fitness Company Limited, located at number 79 St. Vincent Street, Tunapuna.
For the month of June, registration will only be $50 to book your space, and you can pay the tuition fee before the start of camp.
Ikaro, I am Alatumishe Ifabamishe Aganki, better known as MC Duke.
And every Monday between the hours of 9 p.m. to midnight,
I host a show called Orisha, The Way of Life, right here on the Sheet 919 FM, where I have guests passing through from the Orisha Ifa Baptist Diaspora to educate, edify, and inform you, the listening public, about Orisha Ifa practices. So remember to tune in
every Monday between the hours of 9 p.m. to midnight
for Orisha, The Way of Life.
starting at $10,000 have now been added to NLCB's Playway and Fast Cash games. Wager on Playway Mega Mix or Fast Cash Monster Draw for a chance to win the jackpot after every draw. Don't miss out. Visit NLCBgames.com for details. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
Get hot this summer. Oh no, we mean HUT, as in hot days mean hot deals with Pizza Hut. Get one large pizza plus single breadsticks for only $135, or go bigger with two large pizzas, family breadsticks, and cinnamon rolls for just $290. All your favorite pizzas with all the toppings you love all summer long. So head to the Hut and get your hot deals while this offer is super hot. Pizza Hut, now that's delivering.
When your corporate event needs more than just food, it needs an experience, a Michelin experience. From mouth-watering buffet spreads to beautiful packed takeaway boxes, the Michelin Experience Limited delivers more than just wheels. We deliver flavor. We deliver satisfaction. We deliver excellence straight to your boardroom. Whether it's a conference, board meeting, or a retirement function, go beyond basic. Go bold. Go Michelin Experience Limited. Call us now at 1-868-474-2250 or follow us on social media at Michelin Experience. Great food, exceptional service every time.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday from 12 midnight to 5 a.m. in the morning on The Street 919 FM radio. Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
Tune in to The Street 919 FM every Friday from 9:15 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. with Kingdom Health Services, situated at number 125 to 186 Eastern Main Road in Tunapuna. For the program, Health and Healing, merging the old with the new, with Mr. Brent Diet. For more information, call 318-7471 or 484-0141 or 360-4100. It's all about Kingdom Health Services on The Street 919 FM.
Join the winning team with Pastor Alkaline John
every Tuesday from 11:05 a.m. to 12 noon and every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m.
live on The Street 919 FM as he talks about Lviv, the power of 5 fruits, one of the most powerful antioxidant supplements on the market today. The 5 superfruits in Lviv are mangosteen, acai, pomegranate, goji, and nuni. These fruits have a positive and profound impact on human health performance and disease. Join him as he gives live testimonials of the Lviv healing powers. To get more information, you can contact Pastor Alkaline John at 516-286-7079 or you can visit his webpage at www.alkalinejohn.com. Remember,
every Tuesday from 11:05 a.m. to 12 noon and every Thursday night from 8 to 9 p.m.
live on The Street 919 FM.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
We are back to the Empires, talking to the Pavilion from The Street 91.9 FM. Empire Relax.
Yes, the Pavilion. We were engaging you into your own views, your own experience, whether you were there in the flesh or were you were outside, something in your hand. Maybe you were taking it in the bar but we were referring to the FET match last night, and we just used that metaphor, you understand, for the Monday night
forum,
yes,
Monday night forum,
in the community,
yes,
and the things that were said and the things that were discussed, and we're trying to get from you, and please, Pavilion, the people are not important. I want to know how you felt about the message.
Yeah.
Did the message resonate with you? Which message resonate with you?
Yeah.
Which ones you didn't like?
And how you would score it?
And how you would score it? How do you feel about what was discussed? What you could add to it too?
Yeah.
Because remember, you the Pavilion, you know. You the Pavilion, so you could add to some things, or you could maybe criticize certain things, you know, from a very logical and coherent point of view.
Yeah.
All of that is welcome. But we want to know how you feel. Call us 342-0081 466-5391.
Pavilion, welcome.
Yeah, again, the umpires, that's one quick thing to say again. Yeah, I sit down and I'm looking at everything for the past 2 months, right? And to me, I feel, well, UNC changing the constitution right under the PNM nose. That is my opinion. They're changing the constitution, so they wanted constitution reform, so they're getting it. Because a lot of the policies that was existing is being changed. And that is something you have to appreciate, because everybody was singing from way back then they needed constitution reform, and it's happening. All right, guys.
Excellent. Appreciate your contribution, my friend. What we have to look at is that I was going to ask the Pavilion if they're in agreement with the changes, one.
The proposed
changes. How do they see the proposed changes impacting on their lives, their daily lives? What can be the negative or the negative fallout if implemented? Yeah?
If any.
If any, yeah. Caller, welcome.
Hill.
Welcome.
Well, best of love. My bad. My thing between all with UNC. Now they want to get Archie out with the
Caller, you fading away.
They finally get somebody to
Right.
over Archie. I hope it's Israeli. Because he's a man wants Archie too. The longest while. So I watching them with the chancellor area, she talk about the penetrating the laws.
All right.
Now they're putting it towards them with the PNM. They'll be lapsing on that form for longer.
Caller, something wrong with your call. We're not hearing you clearly. Right, come talk close to your phone. Right, good.
Yeah, man.
Yes, I hear you now. Solid.
Yes, they're trying to get rid of Archie. So they're bringing in a chancellor now to step it over here, so you wouldn't have the forces that you have. You have to answer to a top man. And that ain't something to me at all. But
okay.
At the same time, we have to take it as it is, right?
Solid, yes.
So I watching that part of the fullness of it. But then see will be the chancellor over. But
all right, caller. Thank you. Thank you.
So the caller is taking issue with the proposal for the new position of Lord Chancellor in the judiciary, alongside the Chief Justice.
Yeah.
The rationale for that was discussed preliminary. It wasn't discussed in much detail, but I know we're going to hear more about it.
Pavilion, welcome.
Yes, good afternoon.
Pleasant good afternoon, my friend.
I don't think that this country could continue along the path it is at this present time. We need to evolve. We need to change. We need to move on. And changes must be made. I was happy last night when I turned onto the television and I saw the meeting. Saw and heard the meeting. And I think that the plans that they outlined at the meeting, I think, was very it was encouraging. Because I look at the point the gentleman just spoke about the chancellor, that is very critical. The criminal justice system is in a mess. You have matters that have been there for 10, 15, how many years they can't proceed with it, right? Witnesses die, victims die, and all these kind of things. So something has to be done, and it is a step in terms of transformation. And I agree with them that the Chief Justice ought to, be given the opportunity to deal with those matters which fall within his remit immediate remit in terms of deciding matters. And the whole administration of the courts and all these things, but he left to someone else. That is a transformation that is needed. And not a matter of who you put there and all this, you put that one there and all that. We don't know. And I'm not getting into speculation. But the fact remains is that something has to, transformation must take place. We cannot go on this way. And I am quite happy also to have heard what they propose to do with respect to the assistance of India with respect to the public service in terms of training and all that kind of thing.
Yes.
The emphasis on community and how they're going to develop, again, with assistance of India. All these things are positive. The question of the assistance and all that. All these things. And a matter of fact, as I'm saying, the question of the economy, where the economy is. I was happy to get an update from the Minister of Energy as regards where, because again, the question of oil and gas production is been falling steadily, and apparently they're going to stabilize somehow and probably go on to expand in terms of production. And these things are critical, and they needed to level with the population, which they did. Because we need to know what is taking place. And if you don't keep the people abreast with what you're doing, and in the space of 2 months, it's quite a lot. And I'm happy to know that they are leveling the population, what they intend to do with respect to transforming or building this economy. This country could not continue and cannot continue to be run in the way it's been run in the last 10 years. We have to move ahead. We have to move on.
Excellent. Excellent caller. You are kind. Thank you. Pavilion is speaking.
Mixed views.
Yeah.
Mixed views,
Yeah.
largely positive in the main.
Yeah.
I find the views and the comments so far to be very balanced. I don't know. Some may say prefer. We'll have our preference. And we need not get too excited yet. Huh? Remember, this is just the government's legislative agenda.
Yeah.
There's a long way to go, as our first caller said. She rather when it reaches parliament stage. So she doesn't like all the lead up and all the ray, as we say in our local language and everything else.
Pavilion, welcome. Welcome. Caller?
Yes, good. Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
I always have to apologize because I don't like coming in because I like to listen to the callers.
Your contribution is most welcome, madam.
Yeah. But you're calling this a fet match. What are the kind of, why don't you call it a series? What is it called? Not a fet match, the serious one, the one that goes on between countries like Australia.
Test match you're talking about. Test match.
So why is it not a test match?
No, well, this was a sidebar. The real test match just take place in the parliament. Outside of the parliament, you have a test match, but the series just take place when the serious thing, what you want in the parliament, then the test match and the heavy debate and the batting and bowling taking place. And you're scoring and you could win. Yes. But on a test match, you don't really win in a what they call a match. A fet match, you don't really win. That is keep people excited.
I thought, I'm glad you said that now, because for me, I was thinking, I don't know cricket too good, but I was thinking that all the time, like before elections, I think they were playing, practicing when you're playing.
Yeah.
Right?
You see, when they were debating the pension bill in Parliament, that's heavy test match day.
Yes.
Heavy bowling and batting.
It will result in a decision.
The decision will be made there. Somebody will get a trophy or no trophy.
Yeah.
Somebody will be out. Somebody will be with or without pension. That is a test match.
Right.
But
Right. But I am, but to be truthful, I like the test match. But I'm not into the, what do you call it again?
that match.
But caller, tell
No,
us
no,
if
the
you
set
listen
match,
to
yeah.
you listen. Tell us what you liked
Just
about
now.
it or you didn't like.
Wait. Just now, you were saying just now, all right. Okay. You were saying that the batsman was angling, was doing, and you giving out some play, get a 6 and a 4, but I ain't hear nobody get duck. Don't forget they must put in a little duck. Sometimes people just make duck, you know. You remember Brian Mara after he did one of the runs when he came in for the next time to play. He got duck.
Well, how you will call a duck is when the contractors were dismissed without effective and proper communication taking place all on sundry.
Right.
You get stumped there. Because you're supposed to tell people you can't just shut down one day and nobody know. So that man, he gets stumped. He back against the wall.
The batsman, he wouldn't, right, but he wouldn't talk about duck. He must talk about duck. I mean, say the word duck.
Say duck.
Because he was saying some get 6 and some get 4.
Yeah.
I don't care about duck.
Yeah, that's a duck. That's a duck. He get out there.
What I like, as you said, and that's another controversy because I don't, in politics for me, and I don't know for the rest of the people, everybody have their own way of thinking. And I always say we are not a politically educated people because we think political is what he say, them say. Right? You know what? Who is Indian, who is this, who is that, and bring into personal things, right? But I always like all administrations, whether it's Pandey, Mr. Manning, Mr. Pandey, whoever there. I find they're good and they're bad. They're good things for me, they're good things and they're not so good things. And some definitely, you know, I don't agree with, but that's me. But you remember, they have to study the country. You understand? So in this FET match, you remember, don't deal with too many FET matches, but there are a lot of things. Even I am I don't hide. I am a UNC from the beginning of time, and I never liked the PNM, but I didn't like them for personal. But it's just the way. So I always like the UNC, and even me liking this administration, there are always things that I don't like. But then again, you have to study the country. I might not like it, but it might be good for the country. So that's why I just say my preference is, you know, I can't, you know, there are a lot of things I don't agree with what I heard in this FET match, like all those kind of the drinking and the smoking and the age for thing. I say, see me. But that's me, and I can't judge it. I can't.
Madam,
I can't do like if they
Madam, we embrace your honesty. We really and truly, as umpires, embrace your honesty.
But I don't like drinking at age, even naturally before this thing. But in this FET match, I age for this and I age. That is like saying I age to have sex. Remember, people have a freedom to live. It's up to you to say, hey, you know, where are you going, what you're doing, and you train yourself to that way. I don't know. I can't tell people how to live the age thing, you know. That is the thing. I find people, I don't know.
Thank you, caller.
And
thank you. Good.
And now it will be good for the now. I'm not saying it's not good or no, because remember, you need stability in a nation and with the people and all that. So rules and things are good. But for me, I believe live free in a sense. I don't know, you know, I'm a kind of freedom thinker.
Okay. Thank you. You appreciate your call. Thank you, bless. Good. Caller was genuine, honest. She said, this is what I am, but not everything they say I'm in agreement with. They say they want to adjust something.
She says like talking about an age for sex. I didn't understand how that come in that though.
The caller is... caller, welcome.
Hey, how are you doing?
Excellent this afternoon.
Tell me something now. Well, the fella seems to be well learned. understand that they had 12 MOU between Modi and our Prime Minister. All right? Hello?
Caller, speak up a little louder. Caller, turn on your device and speak on the phone. I don't know what you're listening to. We get a little echo.
Still getting it?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Right.
You better now?
Yes, much better.
MOU is a memorandum of understanding, right?
Yes.
Between whoever. Does this MOU have to be honored by the parties who signed them?
Well, that should move into MOA, but go ahead. Let me hear where you're going.
No, I'm just asking the question because I listen to the amount of things that the Indian Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, promised us.
It's an engagement, not a marriage. Let's put it that way. We intend to. We intend to. We understand this is what we're going to, and we have moved into a MOA, an agreement, because you see, in a meeting you'll have a memorandum of understanding, what we want to do, implied intent we call it, until our technocrats flesh it out into a firm agreement.
Okay, so
terms and conditions and so forth. Yes, we could say memorandum of understanding, we want to have some free trade tariff between the two countries. Then you have to drill down now. Which products you want to have the free trade?
Right.
What
so
duties you want to have? So there's two folds to it. We're at one stage now, and we'll morph into the next stage, God's willing, in whatever time. I'm not part of the government, but that's the normal progression of things. That's why
that's the whole just behind it.
Solid.
Okay, I just wanted to find another thing. I could say something.
Yeah.
I hear people complaining about the Prime Minister didn't go to CARICOM. Okay?
Yes.
And but let's be honest. I don't expect Ms. Sister to go anywhere. No, this is me. I don't believe that she's in proper health to go anywhere. And I believe the nation should pray for the lady. I don't believe we'll be seeing her flying out to go anywhere. That is my belief. And I'm waiting to see when she's going anywhere. And I believe that we should pray for her. And look at her, especially when the man was here the other day moving. And she says in a shadow of herself.
I hear you, caller. Yeah.
And listen,
I hear what you
know why? You know why? Because my wife passed with that same disease. Okay? And that lady can't travel and she ain't about that.
Okay.
And let's pray for her.
All right, caller. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
A very earnest comment. I appreciate the caller's sentiment, and listen, somebody said this is a hard place to govern. So her non-attendance at CARICOM is not synonymous with our non-representation, because a delegation was sent, which is normal in international relations.
We have BRICS going on. China and Russia president did not attend BRICS, so we said it okay about BRICS
not
and so
uncommon.
forth. Normally they talk, but what we see, okay.
This is not Air Force One,
No, but more than that, the Prime Minister or the captain of the batting team did communicate with all the leaders and so forth, and the head of CARICOM, yes? As is done between the US president and the Russian president. They talk and they converse. She did converse before, give greetings and so forth, yes? Welcome the new head of CARICOM, Jamaica Prime Minister and so forth, as he take helm of CARICOM, and so she did communicate with them. But countries have matters of state, and the Prime Minister, the head of the executive, have to prioritize what is on their legislative agenda and what is priority for their country. It doesn't slight in any way the fact that a large delegation, we had the ambassador plenipotentiary, Ralph Maraj, we had the Foreign Affairs Minister, we had the Homeland Security, we had a contingent go up to represent the country. And every organization must demonstrate resilience by having team members that in the absence of, there's continuity.
Yeah.
And if this is demonstrated by the Prime Minister by saying, look, in my absence, this thing could still fly normal, this plane will not crash, you know. Yes? It's a demonstration of confidence in members of our team to keep steering the ship in the right direction. Caller, we welcome you.
And I just love to hear you speak, because you speak with understanding, and when you speak, people have to understand. And they can't call you and say, well, you make a good contribution, but you understand your words, and you are laid out that even a child will understand it. How you know lay out that day. So we lost nothing by our Prime Minister in going there. That's it, I think, on the cake day. We lost nothing by our Prime Minister in going to the CARICOM, because, as I said earlier on this frequency, that to me, I consider CARICOM as a talk shop, just to go and find some people, and nobody could point fingers to tell me what affected we country get from over the years. Going there, our Prime Minister, going there, I know Dr. Rowley was ahead of the chair a while. And what come out of it? What I do not know. Anybody could tell me.
Well, to be honest with you, really, after the meeting, all the discussions still have to go back to each home country for the cabinet to ratify before they implement. They don't talk and say, well, we're doing this, and they do as they want, you know. It's not a wild thing. So the Prime Minister's going to CARICOM really and truly is to set an agenda of implied intent.
If I could inject right in, because again, you're making the same point they would make earlier on, and it is the right track you're on, like what I own. But when I go back, what is the result we get out of it? Because this is not the first time a CARICOM happened. It's not the first time, because every time in 2 years or a year or 6 months we go and sign things, and we go and give agreement and a commitment to our country, to a different country, trade and wherever. We could speak about national security, because our Minister of Homeland with the Minister of National Security in Jamaica, and to speak about it, national security issues, right? And after that, as you say, they come home, they break down wherever. What fruit come out of it? That's what I'm saying. Look, right now I see that the president signed some, I think it's Congo, and our next African country was warring. And they went and they sent ministers to the White House. And the ministers and them from the African country was saying, well, we know we signed things, but because over the years, President Chávez in America and the Congo and African next country was warring still. And he actually said, please, President Trump, follow up on it. Don't let me come and fanfare and sign papers and then in the next 3 years, 4 years ago, same war. So let me do something and let me show the public that, hey, we signed this and this is what we did. So again, the fanfare is one thing, but nothing is going to come out, because over the years, that the CARICOM do not agree on many things. The CARICOM not together.
Yeah. We have, in all honesty, caller, we have made 1 or 2 strides. It may not be as much as we would like, or the bold statement in terms of, people talk about one currency in the CARICOM region. We talk about, I think what you're looking for is more bold decision being made that we have not seen. And I have not seen. We have made some strides in terms of the free movement of skilled labor. Last year, we had a significant change. Private security officers in the private security industry can move between the islands now. That formed part of the CSME agreement and so forth. So there are small little movement. Let me tell you how Trinidad is. I want to segue, if you allow me, and you are so kind to allow me.
No problem.
I give you an example. Exim Bank, I remember for the election, the batsmen and they were saying, oh, now you could get 50,000 US or something like that. from Exim Bank if you want to do export, and da. And they talk that, right? You know that always existed. That was not new. You could have always gone as a businessman to Exim Bank and get money for raw materials. And there's a list of things every businessman, once qualified within the terms and conditions, can access US from Exim Bank. It was always there since I know Exim Bank. I want to go back way back to Ken Valley time and so forth. Way back I went. When I understood Exim Bank, but it was played out because they deal with the ignorance of people. The fact that they don't know about it, we treat it out like something new. Exim Bank existed way last 40 years. Well, how old am I, boy? Yeah,
60 years you're trying
no.
60 years.
I get beat up inside the studio
60
here, man.
years, you mean Paul as well, listening.
That's for the ball out. They don't know the ball.
The umpire get ball here, boy.
But as I close, right?
Yeah.
Let me close. As I close, right, sir? I'm going to get the mandate. Why so much we have to spend so much of money to travel from Trinidad and Jamaica? Why we still have to get passport and this kind of thing? So
exactly, those are the bold statements we want from CARICOM. Brilliant.
Why so expensive? Why we don't have boats and things and going to Jamaica, come to Trinidad and Barbados and these kind of things? Why we make it easy? And so we need to be that CARICOM have to stop the joke.
Thank you, caller.
I understand, but we need to be more serious. I thank you very much.
Thank you.
You sell out yourself there. 60 years ago, you on the Exim Bank. Callers only here. 60 years ago, he talking about Exim Bank. When he catch what he's saying. He was in the FET match. I'll never forgive him. He was in the FET match and he had a time.
Caller, welcome.
In the FET match.
We are back and all in the Empire box here, man.
Yes. Now, you see what you said there, how people play on the ignorance of people? That is exceptionally true. Because a lot of things that are going on worldwide and in our country that people have no idea of. And I don't know if they keep the people ignorant so that they can bypass their lives as a truth. But people are very uneducated on a lot of things in this country in a time of knowledge. And it is very sad. We have our phones we use every day for all kinds of things except gaining knowledge. If we could only take the time, nowadays we have AI, a lot of things, ChatGPT and a number of different ones. And you know what we use it for? Stupidity. You want to fix a letter. You want to do some kind of thing, maybe put in a job application. But you know we could use it to make money, right? And we don't teach these things. But in regard to CARICOM has fallen apart a number of times because you know why? Distrust in each other. It's the same type of distrust that we can't even settle and agree on Caribbean Court of Justice because some people find it have too much of one people in this, and it have too lesser people in that, and all this stupidity. The country that it's hosting in, which is Trinidad, can't agree upon it. You can believe that? You have it in your country, and you don't want to use it because you don't accept it, because you feel your race will get disenfranchised. This is why we can't go forward. Because a house divided against itself will never, ever stand. And I know my partner trying to make an excuse for his leader's absence to make it look like it is invaluable to me. Don't try that.
Thank you, caller. Welcome. Thank you. So the FET match talk about CPEP came up in the FET match last night, eh?
And right, tell me.
I find, you didn't hear? Okay. And some, you know, we talk CPEP and there was some, what we call bleeding heart and the government bad and they shut down CPEP and then I hear about 30-something contractors, companies were struck off the register. Do exist.
Struck off or fell off?
Well, they have paid him money and they can fall off. They had no annual return, and you know, in law, there's a time frame in which you file annual return, and if you didn't file it after X amount of years, you get struck off. So they were struck off, but their contract was renewed. So I wonder what
on what basis.
Well, this is what I'm wondering. I'm like Alice now. I'm wondering what is the checks and balances that exist in CPEP, the company, in terms of renewing of person's contract and so forth. I know when you do tenders now, and probably, I don't know, in some companies, you have to send your last annual return to show that you're a legitimate company, you're bona fide. I don't know what happens in CPEP. I understand some contractors, I look at the contract terms from the cabinet note. I know the cabinet note changed. The cabinet note said not more than 3 years. I see some contractors got 6-year contract, not one.
That's a different
not
note.
Not two.
That's
a different note.
You didn't get a note.
I didn't get a note. All right.
You didn't get a note. But all of that was in the FET match.
All of that was in the FET match.
Then
I hear it's counselors and all kind of people when we talk about the little downtrodden fella supposed to be engaged in this. So it's not poor people who are getting contracts. The sufferers were getting contracts in CPEP. This is what came out of that FET match last year. It was no poor people and so forth. Oh, God, man, suffering and so forth. The only fallout of that may be the worker who working for the contractor.
Yes.
Was not the worker taking away to court? It's the contractor who was eating our food with his 6-year contract. All that came out. Caller, welcome from the pavilion.
Oh, yes. Welcome, good afternoon, Sir. Good afternoon, Romero. Rollock. Yeah. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. You know, as the president, Trinidad and Tobago villager, I just sit down and listen well all programs because I had to be the president for the whole station in simple psychological and intelligent ways. So I listen to the program this evening. There's one thing I hear that I like coming from at least one ministry. Vision and mission of the ministry. That's important. Above all the things that are going on right now, I still have to wait on 100 days because I hear 100 days, and by the time 100 days, I think it's supposed to be set. You know, people will watch and look and see what they could see now and maybe talk and something like that. But everything on 100 days, basically, they to bring out. That's why I find that could I go about the business and do what it had to do and leave people here to take me last night. But I will leave that for 2 seconds because I don't want to go there right now. But after seeing about the pension, and well, we dealing with the CPEP is a kind of, we had to watch go through labor and the public ministry and see how that's going down and everything. I will say that I'm watching. As I say, I'm watching until 100 is sure. I'm watching.
Excellent. Appreciate your contribution.
Yeah. No more or less, you would understand that in the post that I left all about the place now, I will be looking at vision and mission from the ministries and then in the post. You know,
that is critical. That is critical, yes.
Because what I want to maintain, and I will keep saying these things, what I want to maintain is that you see like how I still saying, I see like how 3 earlier, they 12 supposed to be. So 12 could bring messages from each ministry. And well, the top of the basic of the post as the horoscope and so forth, you know, that's the ministry where you stand up as the president and the whatever. They really stand up. We have all the portfolios after that we're dealing with it from the ministry of the people. So that we know exactly, everybody going to there is going to know exactly, so we could deal with them up there. Look at how they come, whether it's Weber, whether it's affairs, whatever. And that is kind of programmers that are set and should look at it good enough and program it best that I could do it, because we must keep on knowing. We, the pavilion, must keep on. We don't forget, we are batsmen in the pavilion. We have bowlers in the pavilion. And we also have referee and thing in the pavilion.
Yeah.
So once we get them and we could get them out to do the right thing, we will go at this time. But we will talk it later, because I know what I know and I know what I say. I think you should understand.
Yeah, your vision is clear, Prezi, and we'll engage. We'll definitely engage and expand on. Thank you. You're too kind. Thank you.
We're shifting gears now. We're shifting gears. Callers, we're shifting gears. The street, we're shifting gears. And we're getting back to basics. We're going back to school. Umpire Selvon went registration today. He's ashamed to tell you how much he had to pay. Don't mind, he's 60 years now, he's talking eggs in bank. But this whole idea and this whole concept of education, the question today is, what do we want from education? What do we want? What do we want from an education system? What do we want from the education system? You in the pavilion there, what do you think? We want passes? We want bright people? Is it that we lack that? We want a good workforce? We want a highly decorated and educated public service? What do we want from the education system? What do we want them to produce? What do we want out of education and formal education? So we're dealing with schooling here. What is it we desire as a country from the education system? I want you to think about that, and when you call and you tell me, what do you think we want? What are we trying to achieve? Is that we need more ones? Distinctions? We need more A's in the profile? So we're moving from 2 A's, 2 B's to 4 A's or 3 A's and a B. What do we want? We want good workers. We want workers who will say, yes, boss, no, boss. Thank you, boss. Jump, how high, boss? What do we want from the education system? What is the education system supposed to produce? Or who is the education system in Trinidad and Tobago 2025? So we're not dealing with nostalgia here. We're not treating with nostalgia. We're dealing with 2025 and 2030. We're going forward. 2035. What do we want from our education system? Call us 342-0081, 466-5391.
Caller, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Look, you see, we just now speaking about misinformation and lack of information. And there you go, allowing a blatant LBW get away and demand it out. Not all the secret contractors and millionaires and rich go and speak to Mr. Darian Marcel, who himself was one. Many of them are ordinary people. The contractors are not all rich. They are ordinary people. I cannot say the same for the new set who may be coming in. But we fall for a lie. Up to now, we have heard and seen. We've heard about corruption, but we have seen no documentation to implicate anybody in any crime. But we take that again, another LBW. And our next man here,
I like the pavilion.
with a white.
Yeah.
A man get kept out with a wife. So we have to be careful and get informed properly. Don't believe what you're told.
Well, hear what the man said. The man say, I do have parliamentary privilege. If a line take me to court in the first match, eh?
Well, yeah, but you know that.
So this why I throw it out there and say, hey, he who alleged must prove. So he alleged. Challenge him.
That's the problem.
Challenge him.
You can't challenge him.
Why?
Because the umpire is for the same team that bat him. He's one of the team. The game is on it. Blame me. So you going to challenge. So who? Where you going to get challenged? You can't do that. How you going to do that?
Caller, as you on the line, because we switched the page, we switched the dial.
I know.
Right? But as you're on the line, tell us in your own words, in your opinion, because we're dealing with education in this segment going forward.
Okay, great.
What do you think we want out of the education system? What is the product? What is the aim? What is the goal? Do you get the feeling that we know what we want out of the education system in Trinidad and Tobago going forward?
We don't have a simple idea of what is needed.
Right.
Because as last shortly I said, we made the biggest mistake when we took board out of the school curriculum.
Right.
And that was the beginning of the end for our country students.
Right.
You see? Secondly, we need to have some serious remedial classes.
Right.
Children get them out of school and they can read and some can even write.
Right.
That is insanity. So we need to ensure that the right things, the right boxes are checked. And I'm not talking about multiple choice.
Right.
I'm speaking about, because you can have a tablet, a laptop, a computer, and you know what is happening? It is spell checked for you.
Yes.
So you come out of the school and you can't spell, you can't write, you can't make a sentence make sense.
Yes.
When you're speaking, you have a problem. And we see that happening right now with people holding office.
Yes.
Because computer doing it for them, phone doing it for them, AI fixing it for them. So we need to teach them the basics. We have to go back to basics.
Right.
Because we feel we're too big, so we don't need basics. And
Yes.
the world going to hell in a handbasket because we feel we get too bright.
Right.
And we make a mistake, and we're not making different mistakes, no. We make it the same mistake in a different package.
Okay. Thanks, caller.
So we're spinning on the spot then.
Thanks. So the caller there talked about going back to basics. He talked about literacy as being a big issue.
Caller, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Okita again, quickly. No, I just want to say, the people talking about the Prime Minister didn't go to the CARICOM summit. Now, in cricket now, you have a concussion player. If a batsman cannot continue, that concussion player could come and continue the innings. Right? There's only 1 day, eh?
Yes.
Right? So nothing wrong if the Prime Minister should assign two subordinates to go to the meeting. Now, about the meeting, quickly, I would like to know what is the position with the regional negotiating machinery, which was a input of Societ Ramphal. And the gentleman who he put as the person to drive that process was a very, very brilliant Jamaican they call Richard Bonnell. Well, I'm not hearing about Richard Bonnell again, but I would like to hear in the communique what is happening with the regional negotiating machinery. And finally, in terms of education, we have a Department of Government at the UWE there. Where, up to my time, most people never pursued the political courses and things in that department. Right?
Thank you.
Some emphasis should be paid
Yes.
in that department.
Yes.
Because too much people, I listen to radio for a long, long while. And sometimes what I hear, and I just feel like I waste my time. People just talking. And it has no relevance. They're going off topic and all kind of things. So we need to focus on some political education. If the government gives scholarships or what, start to put emphasis on that department of government in UB.
Right.
Thank
Okay,
you.
brother? Thanks.
What do we want from our school children when the children leave school? Is that we need more passes? We don't have enough? What do we want out of the education system? What is a good product of the education system? How do we tell? How do we distinguish in 2025 and beyond? Do we have anybody on the line? No, not yet. So we will discuss, because I get the feeling that we don't know what we want.
Well, in my opinion, I just give my opinion as umpire. I'm no expert in this thing, but from the little corner I stand on. Caller, welcome.
Good evening, the pavilion again. I see the pavilion, the empire aside from the pavilion, I guess. So, my time going at school in Trinidad, they used to teach us that you go to school, come out with passes to get a job. And that's what they used to teach us, to get a job. Not to own our own business. You see, while going to school, the technology is getting advanced. And I think we should integrate, practice, teach them about the technology also. And find ways and means. Because look at China. China takes existing technology in this world and they improve on it and make it cost efficient. You see, we have to take our children go to school. You teach them ABC 1, 2, 3. But if you look at it, if you teach them in one direction and you continue teaching that one direction, you cannot wait till they reach university to understand a different form of teaching. We are trying to say, let me give you an example. The Muslim, they teach the Quran by singing. They sing the Quran. And that's why the children understand the Quran easier than you speak it out. So we need to integrate different methods of teaching. You see, like you, Mr. Selvan, and you, Mr. Ronaldo, you're very educated. But I'm sure when you go to certain conferences and you see new things developing, you will be like, wow, I need to do some research. But you were never taught how to do research in schools. You learn researching from your own. A lot of people do that. So in order for us to be a society with education to be advancing, that's why we need the laptops. We need to teach children how to research properly, how to write. Because if you just type in, let's say you're gonna look at AI, and you just type in, tell me where's AI, you won't get a proper search. And this is what opens children's minds to understanding and learning new things. All right, guys.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. What do we want, the pavilion? What do we want?
Welcome, caller. Caller? Caller, welcome.
Yes, good afternoon again. The issue in terms of training children, for the labor market, I think that we are at the crossroads, and we're in a very difficult position today. Given what has happened in the past, I want to go back to the past.
Yes.
You have places like Texaco and all these companies where even in terms of when you had a booming oil industry, you had even at the university, you had people being trained in chemical engineering and all these different things. They were prepared for a specific form of employment. And today, that's no more. Point Lisa, that's no more. And I'm saying that training must be linked to jobs. If you can't train people, and when you train them, they have no job to go to. So I'm saying in the past, we were able to train people. You had Carrie Dock, which used to be Furnace Smith. You have people in mechanical engineering and all these different things from John D. They actually train people to pick up employment in those places. You have the foundry. People were trained for specific jobs. But that, I don't know, all these things have dried up. The economy is at its lowest ebb it could ever be. And I don't know when you're training, what training you're going to give them. You have over 400 doctors today. Can't find employment. You have lawyers working as law clerks and all kind of things. They can't get jobs. They can't get briefs. So I'm saying that we're in a very difficult position where we are today. Unless we are able to invest, whether it's the private or public investment in the foreign direct investment, we would be in a total mess. People cannot know today. It's difficult for them to migrate to the United States, England, or even Europe. So I'm saying I don't know the persons. They have to sit down and rethink, because I don't know what kind of training, how they would train them, what they would train them in. When you train, you have no employment, nowhere sitting to fit in. So I think that it is a very complex situation, and yes. I don't envy anybody with that.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. Honest.
We're going for drinks, so we will take calls after the drinks.
After the drinks.
But as a country, we need to make up our mind. Because we're talking education and school and education reform. But apart from sending the children and picking them back up on an afternoon, what are our measurements for success? Do we use the CXC passes? If that be it, only certain people would have succeeded. Do we use the social temperature of the society to say, well, okay, they're learning something? Well, how you know that? Because that guy just stopped to cross the lady across the street. Something is happening lower down, because you would hear the people of a particular age talk about civics and ethics when we come back after drinks.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. We rollin' big when the jackpot hit. Play way fast cash, that is the fit. We rollin' big. Fast cash and play way take win. No extra spend, just vibes and luck. Play way and fast cash turn up. We rollin', yes we rollin' big. Fast cash and play way take win. Mega mix or monster pick. Jackpot from 10,000 quick.
Jackpot starting at $10,000 have now been added to NLCB's Playway and Fast Cash games. Wager on Playway Mega Mix or Fast Cash Monster Draw for a chance to win the jackpot after every draw. Don't miss out. Visit NLCBgames.com for details. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
Whoever said messy was a bad thing totally missed the point. Take that hit song everyone loves now. It probably started like this. Baby, calm down. That's why KFC is celebrating the messy moments with our Messy Cruncher and Messy Zinger sandwiches for only $34.95. Imagine a crunchy, golden brown, flavorful chicken sandwich sauced to perfection with our signature sweet, spicy, tangy sauces. Oh boy. So crunch into the deliciously messy moments today. Check socials for details. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Get hot this summer. Oh no, we mean HUT, as in hot days mean hot deals with Pizza Hut. Get one large pizza plus single breadsticks for only $135, or go bigger with two large pizzas, family breadsticks, and cinnamon rolls for just $290. All your favorite pizzas with all the toppings you love all summer long. So head to the Hut and get your hot deals while this offer is super hot. Pizza Hut, now that's delivering. Get hot this summer. Oh no, we mean HUT, as in hot days mean hot deals with Pizza Hut. Get one large pizza plus single breadsticks for only $135, or go bigger with two large pizzas, family breadsticks, and cinnamon rolls for just $290. All your favorite pizzas with all the toppings you love all summer long. So head to the Hut and get your hot deals while this offer is super hot. Pizza Hut, now that's delivering.
The Gap Man Limited specializes in products that cater to all your health needs. The Male Enhancement Package targets the areas of the body that contribute to erectile dysfunction. The Male Enhancement costs $1,400. The Gap pills are priced at 250 pills for $500 and 500 pills for just $900. For the best in eye care, get the super combination of a Super Bright and the Body Healer. To improve the heart's function and circulation, get the Gap pills and Formula C. To get a total body cleanse daily, use the Gap Body Healer and Big C, all for a super low price of $1,300. To order your products from the Gap Man Limited, call 628-4531 for products that cater to all your health needs.
For more info, contact 476-7268.
Planning your Tobago getaway? Choose the highest Google-rated car rental company on the island, O'Neill Auto Rentals Tobago. Located just minutes from the A&R Robinson International Airport, at O'Neill, we pride ourselves on being the most tech-savvy car rental company in Tobago. Our process is 100% digital. No paperwork, no long lines. From easy pickup to seamless returns, renting a car in Tobago has never been simpler. WhatsApp us now at 1-868-361-1042 to book your vehicle. Don't forget to mention promo code RADIO2 to receive a 5% discount on your rental. Send a WhatsApp message to 1-868-361-1042 today. That's 1-868-361-1042. O'Neill Auto Rentals Tobago, the easiest, most reliable car rental experience on the island.
Vehicle availability is subject to change. Driver must be at least 25 years old and have a valid driver's license to book. For more information, visit www.rentalcartobago.com.
Are you tired of scratching the surface? Do you want to understand the real forces shaping Trinidad and Tobago? From the delicate dance of our energy sector on the global stage, to the geopolitical shadows behind the crime affecting our streets, we dig deeper. The third umpire goes beyond the headlines. We connect the dots between local challenges and the international currents that truly impact your life, your wallet, your security. Join Stephen Matheson, Selvin Mitchell, and Ronaldo Rollux, 3 employment law and human resource management consulting professionals, as they unpack the complexities, analyze the power plays, and reveal the often hidden realities. Understand the game. Understand your role in it. The third umpire, critically analyzing Trinidad and Tobago's economic and political realities on how they affect your daily lives. Tune in Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. on The Street 919 FM. Don't just listen to the news. Understand it.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
We are back. We are back. And what we say? Chase the adventure with KFC this Java. We're bringing the heat with 3 epic stops across TNT. July 12th, KFC South Park. July 25th, KFC Independence Square. August 16th, KFC Scarborough, Tobago. This Saturday, South Park is where the adventure begins. Chase the crunch with KFC from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Join your favorite hosts, Junior Lee, Chinese, and Whitney, and unlock the full Java experience. Step into the 360 bucket and explore our augmented reality world. And join and win Java Chill Kits, exclusive merch, and free KFC. Come sample all the new KFC tenders. Dip, dunk, drip to win. Live DJ entertainment and finger-licking fun. Java unlocked. Adventure activated. Only at KFC. Empire Relax.
So we want to begin this second segment with a quote from Spanish-American philosopher George Santayana. And this is the context in which we have this discussion in the final hour. And I quote, "A child educated only at school is an uneducated child. A child educated only at school is an uneducated child. True education transcends formal schooling. Professionals fostering holistic learning in youth cultivate curiosity and critical thinking, ensuring well-rounded growth for future success."
Well, a lot in terms of education is predicated upon the educators. Yeah? And what we have to look at is our children or society being educated by regurgitators. I learned in a textbook and I just repeat it to you and you learn. Or is it expansive in terms of the applicability of the education? Yeah? See, just learn and stay right there. That's all you learn. But in terms of critical thinking and so forth, no, you just learn. I believe, and I say this from a point that any research has raised the topic, I believe an education system should evolve to a large extent with the growth path of a country or a national vision. It should be impinged upon a national vision. I know one country, and I'll deep dig in the research of it, and I looked at it many years ago. They were churning out most of their professionals were medical doctor. Yeah? Medicine. I know what's happening to that country. The infrastructure was lagging so terrible because they lack engineers now. Because everybody's focused, I want to be a doctor, and that was the thing. Yeah? So the education system wasn't a balanced approach, it was an approach that says, well, you want to be a doctor, but everybody was being doctor. And then we had bad roads, bad buildings being built, bad infrastructure, no, our technology was lagging behind, as the case may be. So as they became doctor, they left and went into other countries and practiced the craft. So I'm saying that we can look at an education system that evolves around an overarching vision for the country. Where we want to take this country and what is the skill set we need to take this country there. Yeah? Because I spoke in the past about GATE, and GATE is supposed to be not just hablash. You qualify for GATE, just go and study anything, but GATE should be for subjects, yeah, that add value to national development, as the case may be. Yeah? In some way it add national and help us achieve, but again, the country must have a vision and a time frame in achieving those visions. The country must have what we call pillars of development to know how we craft our education system to fulfill those pillars of development now.
And I want to follow on your thought, right?
This is just my thought, eh?
As you
I've researched it yet.
Adjust the freezer.
Yeah.
Because we have spoken a lot nationally about diversification and diversifying the economy. We hear that every budget. Everybody diverse. I think I hear that since, well, not like you, not 60-something years ago with you and your Exim Bank, right? But I've been hearing that maybe 30 years now, you know, or 25, to be modest. But we always hear about diversifying the economy, What are the skills required in this new economy we envision?
Yeah.
What are the skills required?
Well, first we have to know
where getting those skills.
Where we going, diversifying to where, to what, to how? What are we looking at? What AI are we giving GATE in AI training and development? Do we have the capacity in terms of the level of tutelage that is required to bring that capacity? A lot of our people I know who into AI went away to study it, wasn't studied here. A number of people I know build apps and software and so forth, software engineers and so forth went away. Do we have the in-house capacity? I don't know. We just saying and we broad-based in the pavilion. Help us with this one.
Because it's very easy to be celebratory about passes and who come first. You know, we still into that who come first, who come last thing, right? We're very competition. We're very competitive in everything, right? And often enough, it is not a matter of not rewarding hard work. Okay. But everything we do is first and last. You're going church is first and last. You go in the parties is first and last. We're very competitive. But what do we want from this education system in Trinidad and Tobago? What are the skills? What are the attitudes and values? And I'll lead in some way with this. We will continue it maybe in another. Because the batsman, the captain, spoke about certain legislation that refer to certain values. What do we want from this education system in 2025 going forward?
One easy way to help guide that process, in my opinion, while they look at the weather condition outside before the batsmen go out, one thing, easy way to start, in my opinion, is look at what is considered developed country status. If we say we're not a developed country by certain measurements, yeah?
What are the indices?
Indices. So that is one way to start, to say, if a developed country, and I think next time we meet, we'll look at some of the critical indices to be categorized by United Nations, UN and so forth, of what a developed country looks like, what measurements are used, and so we look at that. And therefore, if these are the standards for developed country, you can be training your education system can be ultra viral, that which will take you there. You understand what I'm saying? So that is a guide now in how we should focus our education system, how we should focus GATE, and all of these things in terms of building capacity to engage. I remember there was a standard once, many years ago. I don't want to call no time frame with you because you started to count me, you know, you're doing the calculator inside the thing and you counting. Many years ago, there was a UN standard that in government offices, there must be a ratio of not more than 5 persons to a computer, right? Don't try and measure it and say, well, how old this man is to be saying that, boy? So there was that ratio, and I remember we took the initiative to have 900 and something workers or staff from the ministry trained in computer literacy. You understand? So that was benchmark against an international standard. So if it's a place to start from then. That's what I'm saying.
Well, so let me ask.
Don't ask with that. Make a comment, don't ask. Make a comment,
this was
don't
pre-independence or post-independence? This was pre or post-independence. What are we talking about here? Because you're freezing me, so I have to make trouble. Because you have me. This was pre or post-independence. But go ahead, make a comment.
Right? So, that was a pillar that we looked upon that says, look, computer literacy is part of one of the rubrics in which developed country stands upon. How technology savvy your population is, yeah? We might have one on different aspects, and we look at all the aspects. We have one, there's one on birth rate in terms of how many babies died during deliveries and so forth. In hospital, there's a standard for that. There are a lot of standards that have been established that countries are measured to determine if they have developed. We look at the Norway, we look at the US, we look at the Singapore, we look at the Australia, we'll look at all of them and see what UN say as a developed country status, what are the measurements they use, and see how far away we are. And that should drive a government in terms of policy and polity the same, because you're taking a country somewhere, you know. You're not just driving in the ocean, just steering the boat and you spin around so and you spin around so. We must be heading in a particular direction that says a vision for the country, a mission, a direction to achieve something.
And these are very plain and basic words. These are very plain and basic words that we'll want to have articulated in our education policy, in our education systems. It doesn't have to be filled with very convoluted jargon. What do we want in our education system, and what are our measurements? Is it literacy and numeracy? Is it analysis? Look around at our leaders. We have a lot of qualified people, but has that resulted in problem solving?
Over the last 63 years.
Has that resulted in ingenious, you know? Like, yes, boy. Because we can't really even agree if the traffic light red or yellow, you know. You realize that there are 3 colors on the traffic light.
Yeah.
And up to now, we can't even agree. Good? Because you will tell somebody that the light on red and somebody will say, use a P&M.
You get through it.
Use a P&M. How it on red? I seen it on yellow.
Yeah.
You know, we can't even agree.
Yeah.
So, what is the quality of this education system?
Yeah.
Do we have people who are just very certified? Is certification, therefore, the hallmark of an educated society? Good. Is it reasoning? And how does that reasoning manifest? Does it manifest in our behavior and our conduct? Well, we all won't be saints. But how easy is it for us to form a line?
Yeah.
Because you go in other places, and apart from law enforcement, you see them doing some very basic things, very easy, and on your ball, you say, wow. Because for you, it's a wow.
Yeah.
How they do that? You're looking for the police or the helicopter. It have no helicopter. Training, they were trained to do that, to drive in a particular way, to engage in a particular way.
I don't know. I know you're a young man.
Very young, yes.
I understand you're well traveled. I understand. So you have been to New York before?
Yes.
You have been to New York.
To the Big Apple.
And I understand you have been here many a times, and you know how to use the subway and those things and so forth. You ever try and figure out how to solve crime when a man shoots someone? Or how they find them in New York? Have a population of what, 13 million
13
people or
million.
so.
Yes, you're very accurate.
How do they? And you look at buildings, you look at alleys, you look at
needle in a haystack.
How they solve crime in New York City, and 13 million people. We have 5,400 square kilometers, something like that. We on here, and because how they do it. Is there lessons to be learned and so forth? And I go back to what you're saying. What are we really learning? Is it solving the problems we're trying to address all that we're learning?
So is school helping? What do we measure it by? What we see on social media?
Whoa.
Good. There obviously are some successes.
Yeah.
There are obviously children who continue to achieve.
Yeah.
That is a constant. That is not really a wow.
Yeah.
Good. But what is the sum total of that input into the society, into the education system, if people can't line up for chicken? If people can't line up at the port? If people can't
line up for a bus?
If even in their analysis and in their discourse, it has to result in violence. Good. Do we have critical thinking skills? Can we really engage in a good debate?
Do we have good social skills?
You look at the American and the British political systems, and make no mistake, even the most controversial president of all time, as we say Mr. Trump is, or isn't, the jury's still out. Debate and dialogue are hallmarks of the two systems. The both systems. Well, we have fact checking these days. You have to check the facts. You have to check the stats and everything. But people don't just get up and say how they feel and wish and understand. Land of blinking and nod. People don't do that anymore, you know. That's not politics anywhere that makes sense, you know. And you have to be able to stand scrutiny, you know. You see that you notice that on the campaign trail, they go around to the universities. And the communities, yes, they are in the universities and they have to sit and talk to the students.
And debate with the students.
Yeah.
Debate with them.
And they have to go to other places, to the work, to the job, to the factories.
Yes,
you see them
they do that.
going wrong and engaging
every
in
nook and
discourse.
cranny.
Every nook and cranny.
In the little fast food place, they go in and meet them and
they coming to you.
Yeah.
They coming to you, not just you going to them. But what do we want from this glorious education system we have with first place and fourth place? I don't know how much, well, I didn't know what place and who get this place and that place and 9 1s, 9 distinctions. Traffic.
But again, is apart, well, you can't say what is lacking if you don't know what you want.
Okay.
Yeah, so what is the expectation really and truly?
So we want to hear from the pavilion. Call us 3420081 4665391. 3420081 4665391. Tell us what you want.
Pavilion, welcome.
Yes, man. Good afternoon again, President Trinidad and Tobago, Venezuela. Good afternoon again, Trinidad and Tobago. That whole piece of topic of the education system there, I didn't get to talk about it some 2 days ago and didn't say it, but at home now. So I'm free, I have all my thing in front of it. And,
but you only have 3 minutes, Prezi. You say relax back there with that glass of wine in front of you.
Prezi, ready to bat. Go ahead, Prezi.
Rolling.
All right, but it ain't gonna go long because you would understand where I'm going with this, right? So because one of the things you mentioned today is the most serious thing in most of everything that we did, what we're supposed to have, a vision, a mission for each ministry, post today. A serious vision and ministry that we could understand. And I keep on saying we could understand. I'm not talking about government, but government, whenever the time comes, we're going to be dealing with all the matter. So the matter is a vision and mission of all the ministries. Now, the educational ministry will have many, many departments of education. That same education will teach all the ministry subjects. This is where we have to go in. We have to go as education being the duty. We have an education officer first to begin. So that is the ministry basically. And the duty going to be all education, science, and technology services, etc. You use the word etc. because everything you just have to learn. And this year you learn it. Now, all the other ministries will graph from there. Why? Because all the other ministries are going to need the education of the education ministry. I can't talk about every personal thing, but how much money to spend this and money to spend that. People will deal with that as usual. These ministries, in some way, will regulate the economics of things. So you find that these things will happen. It all down into the post that I let go. And more and more in every discipline, in every portfolio, I will bring a little piece and let us understand. But it will be like that, and I wouldn't do too much. But I think you may be starting to understand what I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with from horoscope, the disciplines there, and portfolios, which is ministries.
Thank you.
I could say that you understand it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, the pavilion is looking at it from a philosophical point of view, looking at a cosmic point of view, looking at behavior and horoscope and where that fits into the whole paradigm shift and how does the universe influence behavior, growth and success. Yes? All that impinge upon how we do, when we do, and what we do. It is a science by itself, and some people live by the science and are guided by the science and achieve success by the science in their own rubric. Caller, welcome.
Hey, good evening again, the Empires.
Always,
Mr.
you
Sullivan,
welcome.
I didn't know you went to school with Mr. Martin Luther King and Mr. Gandhi.
But you get chained up. You get.
They say this man was in the water riots, you know. They say he was in the water riots. You figure him out. Thank you, caller.
Well, the conversation is we living in the Caribbean, right? We should have been in #1 in pepper spray. We should have been manufacturing that and giving it out to the world. We should have been #1 in that. You see, we had to use the environment and situation where we located. And we're supposed to be one of the food giants of the Caribbean. Not everything technology-wise, but we're supposed to be, the money that passed through this country, we're supposed to be manufacturing our own medication. We should have been supplying to the Caribbean regionally and internationally. Now, if we go into the factor of technology, there's the opportunity in Trinidad is very hard, and now in the way how the economy going in the world, to migrate is very difficult. You have to reach a certain standard in order for them to accept you to come to work in a company across there. Now, you see, as young people, you're supposed to have businessmen, entrepreneurs, the same singers, Caribbean singers, and the soca singers and all of that, who advance in their craft. And they're supposed to have seminars free for these children. Because in order to be an educated person, you have to be well-rounded. You have to have a little bit of knowledge of most of the things that is happening. And we need to find what creative content each children have. Not everybody will be a doctor, not everybody will be a lawyer, not everybody will work in a CEO and in a company. But what makes our economy survive is the poor and the middle class. They who spend the most money. And if we continue not giving them opportunities and providing opportunities, because after the CXC, those results came out, there's 20,000 again out on the streets, on the market there again in Trinidad, I don't know. And this is something we have to focus on. All right, guys, love the conversation.
Cool. When I speak of national development, I'll tell you what comes to mind, and you raise up a point there with the education system. Can we say we have an educated society when we shut down our steel mill, that we can run and manage a steel mill? Are we educated? Are we smart? Are we bright? Can we say we are educated, smart, bright, intelligent when we shut down our sugar industry? Can you say we are smart, bright, intelligent, well-rounded and trained when we shut down our refining industry of hydrocarbon and so forth? Can you say we are smart, bright, intelligent, well-trained when our food import bill is over $700 million a year? What I'm saying is that if you look at the result, it does demonstrate that we are a very intelligent society, you know. I just looking at that is my opinion. I mean, when you look at all of that takes place relative to productivity, imagine we import bitumen from a tourist destination, Barbados. Are we intelligent? Is the education system working for anybody at all? Or are we applying it wrong? Are we missing something? Pavilion, help us.
What is the conversation in UE? What is the conversation in UTT? What is the conversation in the econ class? In the master's class? In the
our airline
class?
Floundering.
What can we manage? What do we...
What are we doing? Caller, welcome.
Hey, good afternoon, guys.
Afternoon. Evening. Evening,
I just want to weigh in on two of your topics there. One is the policing concerning crimes and solving of crimes. I think one of the things that, like England and America, one of the things that that we need to do, I think we have the setup here, but we don't have it like where it's supposed to be. you see proper data networking. Like if a crime takes place, all the CCTV cameras have people monitoring these things. And I'll give you an example. Coming to the Cabo Star one night, and while waiting, there was a guy in Cabo, and he was interfering with one of the buildings across there, right? And within minutes, the police reached up on him. And I had the privilege to go in one of the centers where they do the monitoring. And the cameras and screens like that. That's the only thing who ask what you've seen on that. You understand? So they have proper people monitoring these things. You understand? That is one of the issues. And if we spend some money in that aspect, every takes place now, every corner that can reach, you have cameras and the CCTV cameras picking up that people until you get it. And that's what we need to do. In England, every corner of that camera. You understand?
Excellent.
Mr. Alexander talk about that. The second thing I want to talk about is the children who write the exams and they have the first, second, and third or whatever it is. I think that's a form of motivation. If you do this, if you read the statistics, you will see that when they have that, right, more children tend to go towards that thing, to try to reach the top class. I know I have family members who was their marks is all kind of 90 and 95 and all them kind of thing, and they was going for that 1,700. You understand? So I think it's that kind of motivation to people, because you see all the children in school when they come into exam, they're doing their lecture lessons and whatever, and because they want to meet our. So I think it's a motivation. I mean, everybody might have a different views on it, but I think it's something not bad. But again, we live in a country where everybody has their own opinion about it.
Yeah, so true.
You have to look at it only by that side.
All right. Thanks, Gola.
If it's motivation, we have to go that way.
Excellent. You too kind. Thanks. Good. Interesting. Are we? When... Caller, welcome. Welcome.
Good evening.
Pleasant good evening.
Good
to
evening.
You. Evening to you, madam.
See, one of the things we don't do is think. Now, it's good to be educated with all the education, schooling and all that. We have brilliant students, as you say, brilliant. But then again, you said, look at the condition of, it's kind of like you're looking at your house. Look at the condition of your country. This gone, sugar gone, this, all the different things. And you know what is one of the reasons? With all the education we have. I remember a school teacher once said, you know why their school did very well? That was years and years ago, not now. Years ago. They said, do you know what's the reason why 99 or whatever % children that sit exam, every living one of them passed? She said, we don't only give our children an education, we teach them how to think. So after she teach, I think it's Selvan who said, if education is just a book to read, so you know brilliantly what is in that book. Now what you're going to do with it? She said, we teach our children how to think. And that is what we are lacking. How to think, whether it's critically, whatever, but how to use the education, how to use your brain. And that is why a lot of times too, in the administration, whoever is there, any administration, you said that you have to have a mission or whatever. They don't carry out, they don't think. So everybody is eat our food, build a house, to their own agenda, and that's where it stops. It don't think, and you remember it starts from babyhood. I'm not saying big people, even little children. They're crying for this, crying for that, and they're not thinking. So we have a generation upon generation, and nobody thinks. Ministers are there, as you said, the umpires are there, sometimes the umpires looking at the whatever. How many people think and carry out the mission? What you say, you were shocked to hear that I think it's one of the ministers has a mission. I thought that came with every ministry have to have a mission statement. If you have if you're going into business, the first thing you have to know is why, when, how, and state it. It's not only knowing how to do, it's not only knowing how to be a carpenter. You know, so we have to think.
Yes, you are
we
correct.
Have to think
you are correct. Thank you. Thank you.
You know, thank you.
I remember some time ago, I'm not going to say no, don't watch me like that. Some time ago, I worked for a Fortune 500 company. Yeah? And you know what was interested in the interview and the engagement process? They look at school qualification. Yeah? And how they look at that is to determine your ability to be trained, to think. You understand? So they look at that now and they say, oh, you may have your PhD or what have you have and so forth. And they say all that tells us is that you are trainable, you know, to think. They say, we will now teach you how to think critically. So all that thing you went and do, they just tell you, okay, you're in a position for us to train you how to think critically now. And it goes back to that development. For example, you have, 6 or 7 A levels and you qualify to work in a ministry. Could you work in a ministry at 6 or 7 A level? You get a job. There is the entrance for it and so forth. But you still have to be able to analyze, yeah? The quality management system, the customer service. There's so many other areas of development to be effective at delivery in an organization or a ministry. They still have to be able to be total in critical thinking. But we just accept if hey, you have an MBA manual, you start, you're the manager tomorrow. Jesus Christ. I mean, why are we failing? Why are all our industries failing to a large extent? Why are we struggling at this? If we go back from 63 to now, how much trillions of dollars were spent in this little block of country? And when you drive on the highway, you swear you're dancing and you're waving. Right? You just have to play music and you're in time with the music when you drive and so forth. Our water distribution system and this little piece of rock surrounded by water, 2 seasons, sun and rain, and we can get water to every home in Trinidad, really and truly, and we're bright. We're bright. We're bright. We have a degree, boy. We have a this. Where we going? Food import bill. Over 7 billion. Agriculture struggling. Cocoa and coffee dying. You understand what I'm saying? So, is the education system aligned with any real development plan? Question I pull back now and ask, do we have any real development plan for the country that align itself with the education system? When they started Sando Tech, San Fernando Technical Institute, when that opened, I wouldn't say how much years ago, right? But when it opened, a large extent of the training inside of there was geared towards preparing workers for the energy sector. So they were doing electrical engineering, pneumatic and control systems, you understand, mechanical engineering and so forth. Really looking at, it is in South. South is generally the hydrocarbon sector of the country to a large extent. And they were churning out persons that would fit into those industries to keep it going as the case may be. Yeah? we have not focused on seriously as leaders on any other major sector of balance. Dubai say, yes, we have all the oil and gas, but we're going to focus on tourism. We're going to focus on some manufacturing and trade now. They want to focus on tourism. And what they start doing is creating what we call a balanced economy, not dependent on one aspect of resource to live. All the bright we bright, and we say we bright. How we never achieve that in this little piece of rock that we on? How have we never achieved that? I asked the question of some learned people recently. Within the CARICOM region, why isn't Guyana the food basket of the CARICOM region? Guyana have fresh water whole day, whole night, sun and rain. You understand? And Guyana have Guyana have some brilliant people, you know. If I look at some people that come out of Guyana Street at Ramphal and all these guys, some brilliant people. But what are we doing with this education? Not only in Trinidad, in the Caribbean as a whole to develop. Tobago, you know the kind of people like Victor Bruce and Dumas and all of that comes out of Tobago. We have some of the watch now. But how, and I go back to your question, and it's a troubling question. How are we maximizing on the education system to make this country what we call a developed country by UN standards? The floor is yours. Like you want me to come back on the floor?
I've looked at, I've had a cursory glance at crime. And it is...
Yes, I'm glad you say that. Why I asked about New York? Our detection rate is about 10 to 12%. Detection rate in terms of effective detection and prosecution and so forth. In this little rock of ours. Roll from there.
And I've asked myself, let's take crime for an example. And I mean crime, both colors.
Yeah. Crime is crime.
Where do our major problems lie? Do our major problems lie with the people with the gun or with those without the gun?
Expand.
Because we have a very prominent bias in our discussion of crime. Because most times we center on what is sensational, what we can call and comprehend, which is violent crime. Yes, Victor shot John deceased, Victor get locked up, he gone to jail. Very basic story, right? Arms, ammunition, those are things that are, even though they get complicated legally, but those are things that we can rationalize, right? But what about when a man siphoned 200 million in a tie and a jacket? What are the effects of that on crime and poverty? How detectable is it? What special book he read that you didn't read? That he come up with a plan to get some contract or to do something that might be quite, and listen how complicated it can be. It might be quite legal or permissible. What are we then using our brilliance for in the main? Are we using it to take advantage of loopholes in the system? Because let's roll back the tape. Remember, you said, Mr. Mitchell, that nobody envisaged in 62 that while batting in the wicket, a man will retire hurt and give our next man the bat and name him captain albeit for a day or two, so that he will enjoy these similar benefits, the similar benefits. But that's what you say. You say nobody envisaged it. I question whether you didn't read the book they read. What are we using our brilliance for? Are we using it to find more loopholes in the law, in the system, more technicalities? You always hearing that. It was a technicality,
yeah.
A technical blunder.
And we look at lacunas in the law.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are we using our brilliance for? What do we want out of the education system? The Pavilion 342008146653991. What type of student do we want? He was a good boy.
He come first in test.
He come first.
Yeah.
He do all the maths and all the English. He bright.
You know the chairman of Enron, Madoff, had a PhD in economics. He was real bright, you know. He had a PhD in economics, you know, and he was in handcuff when they had him held down.
Well, he was very bright.
He was bright. He had a PhD in economics. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was one you looked up to and you salivate, Mr. Madoff, PhD, lecturer.
So he didn't know what he was doing is wrong.
No. He was too bright.
He didn't go to that class. that was elective.
Yeah. So education again. But what some society have is to those who run afoul of the law, be it your starter, have nothing to do with the law. Bill Clinton lost his memory when he was questioned. He hold the highest one, the most powerful office in the world. And he was questioned, but for some reason these fellas in these little banana republic can't be questioned. They are about that.
No, you're attacking them. Don't attack them.
All right, cool.
Don't attack. Don't scrutinize too much. Go easy.
So
have some respect.
We have an education system in the Caribbean and so forth to a large extent, and we had to ask ourselves, is the Caribbean advancing? Yes? We can advancing in terms of more crime could be an advance for some people, eh?
Yeah.
Is it advancing in a positive direction to give a level of sustenance and a long term for generations to come by way of healthcare, by way of reduction in crime, by way of our infrastructure and roads and so forth, by way of the distribution of water to household in islands and so on, by way of our food import bill and our self-sufficiency and our lack of dependency on import, let's put it that way, of food and so forth, in terms of our ability to export, in terms of a stimulating manufacturing sector that we can export and so forth. What is the vision? You know, people talk about CARICOM earlier today and I asked, what is the overarching vision that CARICOM has that will then filter down into each island? What are the pillars of development for the Caribbean and what is the role and responsibility of each island towards that overarching development? Why is Trinidad money not accepted in Guyana?
But Mr. Mitchell,
after 63 years, nobody wants money in Guyana.
Umpire Mitchell, you're drawing a very wide circle. I want you to bring it home. I want you to bring it home with St. Stephen's College. I want you to bring it home with Tableland Secondary. I want you to bring it home.
I want our education system to be impinged upon a national development architecture. Yes? I've seen society, as I said, with most of the educated persons, a medical doctor, and the infrastructure suffered. It was not balanced. They had no plan for development. Just who were you do medicine? Everybody went and be doctor and so forth. And they never created a balanced society. We have the opportunity in Trinidad, let's say Trinidad, where we have a wide scope in terms of access to education and so forth, various types. And the government or the batsmen or whoever should take advantage of that opportunity that exists more so for education, and then start aligning incentive for certain disciplines that will aid in national development. For example, if we want to stimulate the agriculture sector, I will have some serious incentives for people studying, being agronomists as the case may be. I'm just saying, because we want to focus on agriculture and developing our agriculture sector. We want to focus on our manufacturing sector. I would say manufacturing deal with two critical aspects of manufacturing is one, electrical and mechanical engineering and so forth, and see where we are with that relative to supporting the existence and the effective operation of manufacturing organizations and so forth. You know, I just picking out some things and so forth.
But let's take apart that, because we could make some good inferences there while we wait on the pavilion to call us on 3420081 4665391 and tell us what does that model student, that model example look like? What are the qualities?
Because I sure about 10,000 persons would have obtained their degree in Trinidad this year. I'm sure about 10,000 or so, yeah? The largest extent. Maybe say 5,000.
Starbucks? Where are we going with that?
Starbucks.
Where are we going with that?
Yeah, I know where to go. So what is happening? Let me tell you what is happening. People in the existing jobs just up their skill set. So you're a teacher, right? Yeah. So you just go and do a degree. So you're a teacher with a degree. So you're still on the same spot spinning, you know, just to change your clothes.
Right.
But in the same spot, you're really going nowhere, you know, really no opportunity for you, have no advancement for you. You look at self-development, and that's all that taking place. A lot of self-development standing on the same spot is taking place, and a number of people in institutions, in ministries and so forth, go on the study and they get a degree. Ask them, where you, people in banks and so forth, they just get a degree, but they're on the same spot. So the level of education in terms of the expansion of education doesn't lend to a expanding of development in the country, or a diversification in how we change and do things, because the level of education, people just stand on the same spot. They're more educated, they have more knowledge and so forth, but they stand on the same spot. And we have to ask ourselves why, if access to additional resource is needed to shift that paradigm now, that now I'm at this level in terms of education, probably I could go and set up my own factory. I could go and set up my own plantation to plant my greenhouse and so forth. Probably they have access to something else. We have to see what is missing, because the education is there and the education is fine. But something is missing to shift the paradigm to something else.
And I like how you talked about agriculture. I told you that for two things, and I'll ask you two questions here. If you say agriculture, let's take agriculture for instance. Along the education chain, where would you start this impetus? Would you start it in Guayco Primary, or you starting it in the Faculty of Agri-Science?
I'd criticize, and when I criticize Pavilion, I stand alone. I say what I have to say because I have a reason, and I don't shoot at anyone. I have a reason for saying it and so forth. What I said, when I saw the lecturers of UWE protesting for increase in salary, I said, really? Really? You all are not creative enough to generate that level of, that gap that you're looking for the government to fill with any creative opportunity to generate more income for the university, really and truly?
I don't want my money slip out, sir.
So what I'm saying is that, so I look at you just looking at teaching as a work, not to create what we call, not to develop creative juices in the minds of your students, you know, but they say, here, what's going on? Yeah, your masters and your PhD and so forth. If you want to increase, let's protest for it, you know. Because that's the example you set in. But what I'm saying is that, getting back to your point, we have, I'm sure, I talk about spatial development. I was never in favor of AGC just spreading out as the house all over the country and good arable land and so forth. because we never had a development plan for agriculture, so we just built houses all over on good cane land that was built. We have had crops for years. We must decide as a country what is we want. Do we want to get back into agriculture? Is agriculture relevant, useful and productive for this country to be sustainable and to feed itself? Yes or no? Yeah? We are to ask what it is we want. We must develop a master plan and then craft our development along the master plan.
And there's a fundamental difference between building houses and building communities. Huh?
Solid. I like how you're going.
Because we could build houses and, to be honest, not even that we is get right.
Yeah. When
you see the bill for maintenance, you see what comes after some of these mega projects. Somebody fooling somebody. That's a song. Somebody fooling somebody. We like building and ribbon cutting.
We like to smell concrete and hear steel cutting.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's not difficult, in my opinion, to build out. Trinidad is a small country with a lot of resources, and I don't see Trinidad as having a resource problem.
Yeah.
We have a strategy problem, really and truly, in terms of how we align all the resources to improve the lives and standard of living of everyone. Crime is not an issue in Trinidad. The management of crime is an issue. How we manage it, and those things we have to look at. So it's not a difficult thing at all, in my opinion. It's how we approach it. Traffic is not really a problem. The systems of managing traffic is as old as the dinosaur. In my traffic management system that we can put on in this country that really costs us nothing, and allow police officers to focus on the real role and responsibility instead of waving and sweating in the hot sun. So I feel the lack of technology is to punish police for behaving bad, go in the hot sun and wave. I don't know.
So before we close off today, and we're setting the stage for tomorrow, getting back to the FET match. Tomorrow we're going to deal with, or I suggest we deal with, some major highlights of the legislative agenda. Two in particular. The marijuana age and the alcohol age.
Excellent.
So callers, read up, study.
Research.
Do your research. Use your playback technology, your ball tracking. And let's hear your very critical and surgical view on these particular two proposed.
No, what you hear a man say?
No. We don't want to hear that. Let's hear about the social fallout, the statistics, drug rehab centers. Tomorrow, have your say on the Third Empire.
Blessings to all. We gone.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
You want to find something great to do with your Tuesday nights? You want to learn and understand the true